So you want to save your first 10K. That's great because that is one of the biggest money milestones that you can possibly hit. Not because of the number, but because the kind of person you have to become in order to save that much. But here's the thing, you can't get there by just pinching pennies and extreme couponing. You get there by changing the way you think about money entirely. So right now, in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the mindset shifts and slight tactical adjustments that helped me save my first 10K, and I hope they'll help you as well. But let's start with the big kahuna, the one that really starts that ball rolling. When I first started to try to save money, I would always ask myself, can I afford this? And if the number in my bank account was higher than that on the price tag, I'd say, of course I can, and buy it. But that question, can I afford this? It's kind of a trap because it frames money as this abstract entity that exists in a separate life from yours. I know a lot of my fellow Gen Zers say that money is fake, it's imaginary, it's made up by the government to make us do their bidding or whatever they think. And I'm not here to tell you that's right or wrong, believe me, because whatever money is, it's what we trade our time for on a daily basis. Because every single dollar you earn costs you time. Time at work, time commuting, time doing tasks, most of which you probably don't even enjoy in the first place. For the sake of argument, let's just say that you make $20 an hour bussing tables at a restaurant and you work your standard 9 to 5, and after a long day at work, you go out to dinner and you spend $60 on your meal. Now that just seems like a normal day, right? But what you're really doing is trading 3 hours of your time for that one meal. And it's actually way more than that when you factor in time getting ready, commuting, not to mention taxes. But please don't get me wrong, sometimes that 3-hour meal is totally worth it and you do it again in a heartbeat. But by thinking about money in this way, at least you're making conscious decisions and you're being honest with yourself about how much something actually costs you. And once you start seeing the world this way, you really can't unsee it. That $6 latte, 20 minutes of work. Those $80 concert tickets, 4 hours of your life. It makes you stop and ask yourself, would I really want to work an entire afternoon just to purchase this thing? And a lot of times the answer turns to no. And that doesn't mean you can't enjoy life and spend on the things that you love. But what it does mean is you start spending with intention. You start asking better questions. And if you do that consistently, well, the money just kind of saves itself. Here's a little trap I always fall into. I go to the store and I see something on sale and I'll be like, oh my goodness, that's cheap, I'll buy it. And then a few weeks later, it breaks, shrinks in the wash, or sits untouched in a drawer that I forgot about because I didn't really need it. If you're anything like me, you're a bargain shopper, trained to chase the lowest possible price at all costs.
My name's Desiree and I'm addicted to couponing.
But what I've started to learn recently is the cheapest option isn't always necessarily the smartest one.
If you want to save money, dumpster dive.
Let me give you an example. Let's say you bought a $30 pair of headphones because they were the cheapest option. Well, in 3 months, they break, so you buy another one, and then another one after that, and then another one after that. Well, by the end of this year, you're $120 deep into headphones. Meanwhile, your friend just spent $120 on a nice, solid, durable pair of headphones right up front and has been wearing them the whole year, rocking them without failure and enjoying better sound all year long. And how about a mistake I just recently made? So this past year, I moved out on my own and suddenly I was in charge of buying my own toilet paper. Well, I've never done that before. So when I was at the store, I made my way over to the toilet paper section and I looked at all the wonderful options that they had on display. Naturally, my eyes drifted to the 12-roll bundle that was on sale for like $6.99, and I just threw that in my cart real quick without even thinking twice about it. It wasn't until after I got home when I realized that this toilet paper was thinner than the Kardashians after plastic surgery. I mean, I ended up having to use half the dang roll just to get the same effect I would have if I would have just spent the extra $5 and gotten that Charmin Ultra Soft. But that's when I realized the point. It's about cost per use, not just the purchase price. So when you guys are out there bargain shopping,
Dumpster dive.
instead of asking yourself, is this a good deal? Ask yourself, how long will this last me? How often will I actually use it? And will I still even want this thing a month from now? This strategy helps you save money in two ways. You stop buying cheap junk that doesn't last, and you stop buying impulsively just because something's on sale. You start buying fewer things, but better things, things that last, and things that you'll actually use. Hold on a second. If y'all have made it this far into the video and you haven't clicked away yet to go buy something stupid off of Amazon, then maybe, just maybe, I've earned your like, or a subscribe, or maybe both. Anyways, thank y'all for watching this far, and let's get back to the video. So now that you've got the mindset, thinking in time instead of dollars, thinking in cost per use, now it's time to actually start saving money. But how do you do it? And no, it doesn't mean cutting out everything fun and living like a monk. Here's the approach that I love, and it comes from Ramit Sethi, another popular finance guru. He says to spend extravagantly on the things that you love and cut costs mercilessly on the things that you don't. What that basically means is you don't have to feel guilty about spending $300 on Morgan Wallen tickets, as long as you don't really care about wearing the fanciest clothes and you've still been rocking the same hoodie you've had since high school. Or maybe you love a good coffee, so you walk to your favorite cafe every day and order your mint caramel espresso with oat milk, but you make up for it by meal prepping and eating at home every day instead of going out 3 times a week. The key here is intentionality, spending on purpose. Most people spend without even thinking about it. They let money leak every which way in all directions all at once. They spend $50 a month on streaming platforms they don't use. They spend $60 a month on Amazon purchases that they get bored of in a couple of days. And they spend $100 a month on gas station snacks because they forgot to plan ahead and pack their lunch. The truth is, you don't need to cut joy in order to save money. You just have to figure out what actually brings you joy and then just cut the other stuff. Just take 5 minutes and ask yourself these 2 simple questions. What are a couple of things that I absolutely can't live without and would spend a lot of money on? And then what are some things that I spend money on just out of habits, out of convenience, or just because other people are doing it? Once you have your answers, build your budget around that. Give yourself permission to spend extravagantly on the couple of things that you love doing, and then cut costs on the things that you don't love doing. That's how you stay consistent. Because saving money stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like freedom. Remember, the goal isn't to save money just for the sake of saving money. It's to build a life that you actually enjoy. So don't be afraid to spend your money. You worked for it, you deserve it. Just spend it like someone who's in control. Okay, so now we've talked mindset and you've started spending intentionally. Now, time to talk strategy. Because here's the truth. We're all wired differently. Some people thrive under pressure, while some people crumble when things feel too strict. And that's totally okay, because there's no one-size-fits-all way to save your first 10K. So let me lay out 2 options, and one is not better than the other. You just have to find which one fits your lifestyle and your personality. Option 1 is what I like to call your shoot for the moon plan. This is for people who want results fast. You're motivated and maybe even a little crazy, and you're like,
I'll eat rice and beans for 6 months if it just gets me there.
You cut hard, you cancel subscriptions, you stop ordering food, you sell stuff you don't use, and you do a side hustle every single weekend. Basically, you're Dave Ramsey. It's harder, it takes discipline, and it's probably gonna suck a little. But it's also temporary. You build momentum really fast, and if you stay focused, you can save that first 10K way faster than you thought possible. And the reason I named this the shoot for the moon method is because if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land somewhere among the stars. Option 2 is the slow and steady, the habit builder plan. Now, maybe the first option sounds horrifying, and that's okay because there's another path and it's just as valid. Option 2 is all about building small habits over time. You start by saving $10 here, you cut one expense there, you start tracking your money for the first time, you build awareness, you tweak, and you grow. The goal here isn't speed, it's consistency. And it works because you're building a habit that sticks. It becomes a part of your identity. And once it becomes a part of who you are, you no longer have to rely on motivation anymore. It might take you a little longer, but you're building the foundation for building long-term wealth and not just for hitting one simple milestone. So which one are you? Are you the sprinter or are you the slow and steady? There's no right answer. What matters is that you start and you don't quit when it stops feeling exciting. Whether you get there in 6 months or 2 years, saving your first 10,000 is a huge win. And it's not just because of the money, but it's because of the person you'll become in the process. And that version of you, well, they're gonna go a lot farther than 10K. Saving your first 10,000 isn't easy, but it's not impossible either. It doesn't require you to be perfect, it just requires a little bit of intentionality. Whether you sprint there or you walk there, what matters is that you're moving, thinking consciously, spending with purpose, and building a life that feels lighter and more in control. So don't overthink it. Don't wait for this perfect time that's never gonna come. Just start. And hey, when you finally hit that first 10,000, I wanna hear about it. So please drop a comment, write me a message, whatever you wanna do. I'll be cheering you guys on from wherever I am. But until then, thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it. Be good to yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.